7 days, and a decision may be coming on Friday. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now in this video, I do want to break down the details and give you an update on the meeting that took place yesterday between congressional leaders and the president, and why I'm saying 7 days, as well as why a decision may be coming this Friday. We have a lot to break down here in this video, and the deadline is coming very soon. Let's get right into it. All right, now yesterday afternoon, the president and the top congressional leaders out of the House of Representatives and the Senate met to talk about the debt ceiling. Yup, we're coming down to the deadline on this thing. Remember, just a few days ago, the Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, was out talking about June 1st or even early June, saying the Treasury may be fresh out of cash because they didn't bring in enough tax revenues about a month ago on tax day, and as a result of that, they may be completely broke in just a couple weeks. That is coming very, very soon here. That is only like 3 weeks away. Well, as a result of that, I want to break down the details of the meeting that took place yesterday between the top congressional leaders as well as the president, what they're now saying, and did they make any progress? And I also want to break down the details of the next 7 days here, as that was a very, very important deadline that they threw out there as well. All right, so let's break down the details of this. So obviously, you've heard me talk about the debt ceiling issue before. Basically, what happens is if they don't raise the debt ceiling from where we're currently sitting of $31.4 trillion, as in giving the federal government ability to basically borrow more money and spend more money, basically we're going to default here in this country. Essentially, let me give you a quick analogy. It's like having a credit card, okay? Use this as an analogy because I know the debt ceiling situation can be a little bit confusing. Think of it this way. It's like the federal government has a credit card, okay? The credit card limit is $31.4 trillion and we're all tapped out. We've tapped it out, okay? We basically don't have any money left on the card to spend. Basically, what they're asking them to do is raise the credit limit up to, say, like $33 trillion so they can spend more money and continue paying all the bills. It's like the exact same thing. If we don't raise it up, that basically means, well, we don't have more money to spend, therefore we can't pay the bills and we default. In other words, it's just like defaulting on any of our own personal debt, right? If we default on our own debt, what does it do? It crushes our credit rating, right? It crushes our credit score, our credibility to borrow more money. Not a good thing. And that's what's happening on basically a federal nationwide level, right? So does that kind of make better sense? Yeah, that's why this is a pretty big deal here, okay? So here's what happened with the meeting yesterday. A whole lot of nothing. Okay, so basically what happened is after the meeting wrapped up yesterday, Kevin McCarthy and the president had press conferences simultaneously, like at the same time. Well, as a result of that, they were both basically pointing the finger at each other saying, well, they didn't budge, we didn't do everything. Everybody dug in and maintained their stances from a couple months ago. Okay, so in other words, that's just fancy words of saying nothing got accomplished, literally nothing. They all just dug in and said, I'm holding firm. Okay, well, guess what? Somebody has to give, or both sides have to give, and they need to meet somewhere in the middle, okay? Holding firm is not really a strategy for anybody, okay? They can do that. That's fine, but at some point, somebody has to give, or they both have to give and meet somewhere in the middle. So, as a result of that, here's what's happening. They're going to be continuing more staff meetings this week, and then Kevin McCarthy and the president plan to meet again on Friday, okay, of this week. So in just a couple days from right now, they will be meeting again. Why they're waiting this long until the deadline? Not really sure. That's kind of interesting, right? If we really are coming down to the deadline of June 1st, then why are they waiting until we're like 2 weeks out, right? Does anybody else ask this question? Why didn't they meet like, oh, I don't know, maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, weeks ago? Why are they waiting this close, right? Good question. Well, here's what else is interesting about it. Kevin McCarthy also did indicate that they need to have a deal come together by next week in order to meet the June 1st deadline. Okay, so that's like getting really close, because here's, remember, another thing. How long does it take for them to get bills packaged and proposals and legislation through Congress? It's a slow process, right? We all know this, right? It takes them days and days to twiddle their thumbs and to talk about it and negotiate and sip a bunch of coffee all day and, oh, go on a vacation, forgot that one. You know what I mean? So that's why it takes them forever to get anything done, right? So as a result of that, they basically have 1 week. They have about 7 days to get this thing done. Otherwise, they may miss that June 1st deadline. Now, again, we've heard this all before, right? There's a lot of drama right now. They will likely come together on something, okay? And again, too, I want to point this out as well. Are we really going to be out of cash by June 1st? Again, I've talked about this before the other day, maybe a week or so ago, when Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, was out saying June 1st is the new line in the sand. Well, that doesn't make sense because for a while there, they suggested after tax day that we might have enough runway to get us until mid-July, possibly even early August. So there's a major discrepancy here, and something is not adding up. So again, is June 1st the really, like, the actual line in the sand, or do we really have another month, month and a half beyond that that they're not telling us about? We don't know, okay? There's a few people that know the answers to that. Unfortunately, they're not really telling us, or maybe the truth. I don't really know. Again, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'm just saying the dots are not aligning, and what they're telling us is not really adding up based on the numbers that we're seeing and what I broke down for you about a week ago with all the numbers on the tax receipts and all that stuff like that. Again, the numbers are just simply not adding up. But anyway, that's kind of beside the point. The fact of the matter is, this is where we currently stand on this thing right now. Now, again, I know that this is causing, some worries and things like that for fixed income beneficiaries. Let's not sweat it right now. Again, I know that we're getting kind of close here, but at the end of the day, let's just not sweat it. There's just not really any point to, because the likelihood of them coming together on a deal is very, very high, okay? We've never defaulted in this country before, and the likelihood of us defaulting this time is probably very slim, even though it looks like, oh, we're right down to the wire. There's no way they're going to come together on a deal. They will likely come together on something, okay? Now, here's what else is interesting. Remember about, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago, they came up with this idea of minting, not printing, minting a $1 trillion platinum coin. Do you remember this? Well, just a few, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that, I mentioned it in one of the videos as well, where this was, this new idea, and it's out there again. You wouldn't believe how many times I've seen this $1 trillion platinum coin idea in the headlines again lately. So they're talking about this whole, 14th Amendment type business type thing here, and they're talking about minting a $1 trillion platinum coin, and there's lawsuits going on, with Janet Yellen and stuff like this. It's like, seriously, everybody? Let's just I don't know. Let's just talk through it for a minute. You know what I mean? I don't know why this is so hard for them. Anyway, my point is, their other option, again, and this is what's interesting about it, the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, has made this very clear, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe a month ago or so, that a $1 trillion platinum coin is not really an option. But here's what they want to do. Basically, what they want to do is they want to mint a $1 trillion platinum coin. They want to give the platinum coin to the Federal Reserve, deposit it into the Federal Reserve, and then say, hey, Federal Reserve, will you print us up $1 trillion of phony money, essentially, so that we can pay our bills? Again, kind of a funny thing, right? But this is a real conversation that is floating around out there, this whole $1 trillion platinum coin again. So we'll see what happens here. Highly doubt that that's an option, even though that they've said, oh, this could be an option, even though the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, has indicated, this isn't really an option. We're not even going to entertain this idea. But you never know. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So we'll just have to see here. A lot of things that they say was, oh, we're not going to do that. But again, we'll have to see what actually happens when we come right down to the wire. If Congress does not come together on a deal, and if they can't get something done in the time frame given, well, then you never know. Maybe they'll come together on some kind of phony, $1 trillion coin or something like that. We'll see what happens here. Anyway, want to give you a quick update on that meeting. Again, I will continue to watch everything going on this week with these staff meetings, anything that's being mentioned out there, as well as the meeting coming on Friday in just a couple days from right now. And what happens here? Again, we're right down to it, okay? So, are we surprised? No. I've been saying this for a very long time. For months, I've been mentioning this. They're going to walk this thing right down to the end of the wire. Why? Because it gives them more leverage with their negotiations. They know this, we know this, and we anticipate this is going to happen. So I would not be shocked if they do not come together on something for at least a few more days here, and they really drag this thing out until the very, very end. I would not be shocked one bit. Anyway, I do know that there are a lot of you here in the community that want to continue to stay updated on this. Again, I'm not going to talk about it every day, but I will give you a couple updates every so often as there's something worthy of talking about, just because we probably want to pay attention to this, as this would be very, very detrimental, catastrophic, whatever we want to call it, for the country as a whole. And it would do a lot of different things for our money here in the United States dollar, to interest rates, as well as the stock market and all kinds of things like this. There would be a lot of implications that would be, probably not that great. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, take care, and catch you again later.